The chair now recognizes for 5 minutes the gentleman from New York.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first thing I want to do is thank you so much for having this hearing, and I want to submit for the record this letter from the Hospital Association of New York regarding the cost of gun violence in our New York hospitals.
Thank you.
I want to thank the witnesses. Your testimony has been incredibly moving today. I mean, it's inspiring, a lot of your talk. Representative Longden, thank you so much. I can't believe how moving your testimony was and how real it is, what you've been through and your son and everything you've been through. Is just, I'm so sorry for what you've been through, but thank you so much for being here today. And all of your expert testimony. This place is so discouraging sometimes. This big fight we're having in our country right now is so discouraging, everybody against each other. And I'm hoping, as Congresswoman Malorski said before she leaves, that today can be different, that we can find some common ground, that this can be a different day, that we'll all agree that we've got to fund research. I mean, there's no reason the Republicans and the Democrats can't agree that we have to fund research, and we have to get together on that and make that happen. So as Representative Brady pointed out, they changed the law in the last Congress that allows it to happen. Let's make it happen. Let's commit as a group today that today is different, and this group is going to work together to fund the research that all of you have talked about, because it's so essential that we have that information. And I see my Representative Brady and Representative Kelly, as he leaves, also committing to working together to fund research. And I also want to point out something that Mr. Kelly said about, wouldn't it be great if we could pass a law to outlaw hate and outlaw bias and violence? But as Martin Luther King said, Representative Lewis knows, you can't legislate morality, but you can regulate behavior. And all of you have talked about today, access to guns is the cause of this problem. Too many people have access to guns that shouldn't have it. So Representative Brady asked you before, Dr. Henn, about whether background checks would solve this whole thing. Are you opposed to the background check law, H.R. 8? Are you opposed to that law? Shouldn't that be a piece of what we do?
I don't personally have a view that I think is necessarily useful to this debate on that issue, but I really believe, again, that we need a comprehensive approach.
Some of us feel strongly that's a piece of the puzzle. And it's not going to solve everything, but it's a piece of the puzzle. Red flag laws, that would help. Getting guns away from people that exhibit a red flag is probably a good idea. I've talked to so many law enforcement officials that have shown up at scenes of domestic disturbances or have shown up at a house and somebody's obviously got some major problem related to mental health or drugs or alcohol, and they have a cache of weapons in the house. They take them away, and then they have to give them back because somebody wasn't convicted of a felony. That doesn't make sense. I can't tell you how frustrating that is for law enforcement, that they can't take the guns away when they see it happening right there, that they can't take the guns away. So we've got to figure out how to work together. Dr. Satcher, you were the head of the CDC. If there was a virus or a bacteria that was killing 100 people every day in the United States of America, wouldn't that be like a hair on fire thing at the CDC? We've got to do something. We've got to do something right now.
Yes and no. We would make sure that we did the appropriate investigation before we did something, because doing something can be dangerous if it's not the right something.
So
I agree with you.
You do the research, as you've pointed out so
to know
often.
What to do. I mean, we've made a lot of progress with a lot of these viruses, as you point out, but you don't do it randomly.
But if something happened 100 people a day, it'd be a pretty high priority to get something done.
We've had that to happen, and we've acted. But basically, we've acted on very good information. And I can, we had the Hunter virus. You remember that. We had Ebola. 250 people died in the Congo before we could even get there. But as you see, we have made a lot of progress with Ebola globally in terms of the research we've done.
I just want to point out, everybody, 100 people every day are dying of gun violence. There were 250 people in the Congo, and that was a major problem for America. We've got 100 people every day in the United States of America dying of gun violence. We need the research, certainly, and I think we need to do a lot of these other things as well. But if we can get at least one victory, that we can be different today, that we're all going to agree that this group on Ways and Means and this committee are going to work together to help get the funding for the research, that would be at least a small victory. I thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back my time.
Thank you.